Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide, and I am back in Los Angeles, and this is something that I promised as part of the See You at Citizencon membership level, and that is that you would get exclusive content. And I've been so busy producing regular content, I haven't had a chance to give any exclusive content. So this will be both a way of wrapping up the See You at Citizencon membership level, going forward with its successor, as well as taking care of the clerical bits and talking about how I'm going to move forward with the membership level. So let's start with probably the thing you're most interested in, and that is who is going to get the Hull C. Now, inside this container, I've got cards, one with each name of each user, and one for each month. So if you were a See You at Citizencon member for 7 months, there's 7 cards in here for you. For your six months, and 6 cards in here for each name. So if I pull the same name more than once, it's not. It's just happened. So first, we're gonna just grab randomly, and the card I grabbed is X Silent Archer X. You get the Hull C. What I need from you is in the next, let's say 90 days, the account that the Star Citizen username that I need, and email that I need to transfer this to. You may want to think about that, particularly if you don't really want to use the Hull C yourself, if it's not your kind of ship, because I'm going to be gifting this to you, and if I understand the rules right, gifted ships cannot be regifted. So if you're wanting to pass it on to a friend, get that figured out, and then tell me who should be the ultimate destination of the file, of the person. I'm going to have some more giveaways for the See You at Citizencon level members at the end of this. But I thought I would give you something in terms of actual content. I did actually get a chance to see CIG's offices through a combination mostly of luck and the kindness of strangers. And I was very... I received a lot of well wishes on this trip, and some help on some items, including the office tour. It turns out that CIG had been planning on giving office tours, but they couldn't arrange to have as many of them that they could actually open it up to all of the premium experience users. So Xylo and others were each rationed a certain number of cards that they were able to give out. They sent through 3 groups at 4:30, 5:30, and 6:30, and each group, I figure, might have had 50 people in it, probably less than 50. But I was able, through a little bit of luck and the kindness of strangers, to sneak into the last group. And all in all, as someone who has seen plenty of corporate office space, this was nothing out of the ordinary. Most of the areas we were not allowed to take pictures, but some we were, and I'll probably be including those in a later video at some time, or possibly not. But it was good Class A office space, but really nothing different than I would expect to see, not simply of another game company, or any other high-tech company, but a bank or a real estate company or a mutual fund company. I spent a lot of time working on the interiors of the Vanguard group, and this was not particularly nicer than their offices. It was customized and themed, but in terms of the actual cost of building it, particularly since, Sure, they make a custom panel between the desks made out of stamped metal. But honestly, at scale, at 3 floors worth of it, it probably didn't cost them more than an item out of Herman Miller's catalog. Each one of there were a lot of photo murals, but those are not expensive items anymore. You just print them off you send them to some place that's got a wide printer. They print it off in stripes and they slap it up like wallpaper. It really isn't a particularly expensive way to decorate anymore. Yes, there's in the public cafeteria area that was done up nicely, but that's sort of exactly what you would expect, really, in any Class A office space. There was Jared led the tour, just if you were curious, and he grumbled about that 600 people all taking 5 minutes to do their coffee versus paying one barista. It makes actually good economic sense to pay for having a barista, yet people are, oh my gosh, freaking out. They've got a barista. And I actually pointed out to Jared, there's even a bigger argument, and that is that not simply the 5 minutes a day that people make to fix up their coffee, but you also have one poor sucker who has to clean that coffee maker every day and fix it probably once or twice a month, keep it maintained. And the expense of that really adds up if you're talking about the marginal cost per hour of a programmer. The typical programmer does not have a full cubicle. They have an adjustable height desk, a good chair, and 1 or 2 monitors. And so they pack in quite a number of programmers into a square foot. So the cost per employee per square foot is probably quite reasonable. They showed us where Chris Roberts' office is. It's really probably a smaller office than my living room here. It has a larger than normal desk, which is typical for a senior executive, because you need to have a desk that people can kind of gather around and share papers and all be looking at the screen and collaborating on it. He has a couch with 2 lounge chairs, again, which is very, very typical architecture in a senior manager's office, because they have, a place where they can have sit-down meetings in private in the boss's office. What I found was unique is that his office is positioned it's surrounded by programmers. It's a fishbowl office. It's all glass, all glass front, and so he's looking right out onto a whole bank of people at stand-up desks, and the other large offices nearby are all creative directors. He has not located his office in the middle of the marketing department. He has not, in fact, the marketing department, as best I can tell, isn't even on the same floor. And he has not located it in close proximity with the other, what you might term the C-suite, the chief financial officer, the chief operating officer. So Chris and that's unique. Usually the CEO would be with the other C people in the C-suite. But he has positioned his office, and Jared said that this was typical for his office in any of their 5 studios, is right in the middle of the programmers themselves. The actual complex, what you might call the campus of CIG, actually consists of 3 locations. They have 3 floors of the building, which they sometimes show an aerial shot of. They have the top 3 floors there, and then that's what I've been speaking of so far. And then right in the building across the alley from it is Granada Studios, which is an old television studios. Jared pointed out that it was the studio where the Beatles had their first television performance recorded at, which makes sense because Manchester is a sister city, sort of Liverpool, and of course the Beatles were four Liverpool lads, and but now it's used for film production studios, not television studios, and that is where their motion capture studio is, which Jared claimed was the largest motion capture studio in the United Kingdom. Slightly larger, apparently, than Andy Serkis's personal studio that he rents out. Someone asked Jared whether CIG rents out the studio to others, and Jared pointed out that that's an obvious thing to do with the space. It's a no-brainer, but that they haven't yet, which tells me that rumors that they are desperate for cash are unfounded. If they were desperate for cash, they'd be pushing hard to rent that as many hours as possible. So the rumors, the bogus Kotaku and other articles that are talking about CIG running out of cash there's a couple indications that that's not happening. One was what I just said about the not being rushing to rent out the motion capture studio, which is an amazing place. And also that if they were desperate for cash, they would have taken Squadron 42 and opened up pre-sales, because that's the easiest way for them to get a whole bunch of cash really fast. And since they did not do that, that they're willing to give themselves plenty of breathing space, is an indication to me that they believe that they are bringing in enough money to keep the engine rolling, and they're not desperate for cash, but they are simply trying to economize and have redundancy since they've been since they added Turbulent in the whole Montreal studio. So I don't think it's the rumors about them being desperate for cash. I saw no evidence of them. I also saw no evidence of morale being poor. Morale among everyone was excellent that I saw. And there were CIG people all over the place, both in the during the tour and during the show. There has been these bogus articles saying about how CIG is abusing their employees by making them work overtime for Citizencon, which is just absurd. Anyone that's worked in a professional firm knows that an event like Citizencon is all hands on deck, and also that for people that are salaried, which is probably almost all of CIG's staff is salaried, there is no hourly rate to double or time and a half for overtime, and so the professional standard for salaried people is comp time, and that's exactly what they're being given. So, again, it's speculation by people that, as best I can tell, have never held a real job in a real professional environment, and I'm starting to suspect that they may not have ever held a real job anywhere, because I think a lot of these articles are so badly written and making such wild presumptions. For example, that there's a secret project to create a medieval MMO going on. And if you know anything, any human being that has any sense of context knows that Chris Roberts has no interest whatsoever in doing any kind of game other than science fiction game. It has been his whole life. So there is no secret MMO no secret medieval fantasy MMO going to be coming out of CIG. So I suspect that these things are being written by a combination of people who have no idea actually about the context and the structure and the nature of the Star Citizen project, or our AI, and that is I'm going to opinionate a little bit out, is that we're maybe there have been some people who are talking we have reached peak AI and it's going down from here. And and based on some of these articles, I suspect that the matter is yes. And the funny thing is that what seems to be going to be the doom of the current generation of AI, the generative large language models, is the same thing. The very first thing I ever learned about computers in the era of punch cards, garbage in, garbage out. And translated to large language models is that you could say that no large language model will ever be smarter than the material it's been trained with. And most of these large language models are being trained based on the internet. And frankly, how much of the internet is complete shit? Okay? I mean, I'm sorry. There was a time when the internet and the web contained a pretty high quality of information. But now that the conspiracy theorists and the fools have rushed in, thanks to broad democratization of it, the internet is, I don't know, 45% shit. And that is the feedstock of these large language models. They're just devouring up the internet. And so their brains are being, their large language models are being mostly or heavily populated with shit. And now, since so much of the internet is now actually content of produced by AI, and there is so little actual discernment or curation of what is being fed into these large language models, we have a situation where these large language models are eating their own shit. They're producing it and they're eating it. And it's just, and the people that are saying that we've reached peak AI are basically saying this, that from this point on, it looks like the big large language models are actually kind of feeding on their own refuse. And some of the stuff that's being said, some of the the articles written in the gaming media, because are now being written by AI, and it's really showing. But Star Citizen and Squadron 42 are looking good. I certainly am going to have plenty of upcoming content about them. So now to my last topic, what am I going to do with the CU at Citizencon membership level? I'm going to rename it Ray's Captains. So we got Ray's Crew and Ray's Captains. And Ray's Captains is going to be giving away physical things. The first set of physical things that it's going to give away is a pair of VKB joysticks. And that's because I want a pair of VKB joysticks. And so basically the captain's going to actually raise enough, hopefully, at the time that I've raised enough money for them to have to pay for the hardware I need and the hardware to give away. Then we'll have, we'll give away a pair of VKB joysticks. But we're going to give away something else right now, and that is I have the physical goodie bags from this year's Citizencon. So if you weren't able to make it, you could act like you have. Or if you had a friend that couldn't make it and you were there, now you can let them feel like, they didn't miss out, that they got the physical goodie bags as well. You can even kind of fudge the truth and say you're giving them your goodie bag. And I have two of them. I have both. This is the Premium Experience goodie bag. And this is the standard experience goodie bag. You'll notice the trim colors are reversed. The trim and handle colors are reversed. That's how they could tell that they were giving the right bag out to people. And so now with these, of course, I'll be needing to know your physical mailing address that you want me to ship it to, even if it's not yours. If you're going to send it to a friend, you can give me their address and I'll ship it straight to them. So first, I'm going to shake this up. And I'm reaching in and pulling out John Baxi. You will get the premium experience goodie bag for yourself or a friend. That's your choice. And the standard experience goodie bag goes to Earth. Okay. And hopefully, not too long from now, I'll be doing the same thing for those VKB joysticks. Now, unfortunately, I'm not yet a big enough channel that VKB would give me copies sticks just for the purpose of reviewing them. But if they did, we would just give them away sooner. So if you have any connections with VKB, you know what to do. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you were at Citizencon as well, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had a great time. It's a tough choice whether it was as good or better than. It's definitely as good. Whether it was better than Los Angeles, hard to say. But I definitely had a great time at it, and I hope you've been enjoying the content that I and others have been producing. Thank you in advance if you're keeping the now raised captain's membership level. And besides that, fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond with Ray's Guide.